Welcome to episode 16 of Dave's Dugout. I'm Dave Schimpf. This is my podcast, and it's all about softball. Nothing else but softball, okay? We like to keep it that way. Sometimes we like to stray, but not in this case, okay? However, I will have one thing that doesn't pertain to softball at the very end, okay? But anyway, let's just talk about softball today. I've been I have a sign behind me called Dave's Dugout. It's not lit up because when it lights up, it's a little bit too bright, and it just doesn't help the video. So just wanted to let you know that. I also have a toll-free number, which is 833-7-DUGOUT. 833-7-DUGOUT is a toll-free number. So anytime you'd like to chat, talk about softball, anything might be of interest to you, or maybe a question you want answered, feel free to call, okay? My phone for that is usually on from noon to 6 p.m. So just wanted to let you know about that, okay? So today I'm going to talk a little bit more about obstruction and interference, okay? Just a little bit more because I've had some questions about it, and I think it's a good idea to probably talk about it, okay? So we're gonna bring up a few subjects. One of them is I'm going to show you an interference video, okay? Let me bring it up. Okay. Let me try to enlarge this a little bit. Okay. Oops, that didn't work. Here we go. Let's show this again. Here we go. Now this is reverse. This is a ball runner on second base who's running to third and commits an act of interference that I do believe was not called. Okay, and you will see the coaches come out and want to talk about this. Okay, I think I have to bring it up again. Okay. The runner ran past a fielder, tried to run past a fielder and got in the way. And when she got in the way, here it is again. See that? She kind of got in the way of that fielder, and she's going to field the ball. Now, there was two fielders going after the ball, but the one that was actually bumped is the one who was trying to make the call, who was trying to field the ball, okay? And this is what happened. So in this case, the two coaches came out, and they were wondering why the call wasn't made. I don't know why either, all right? Because it was obvious to me that the fielder who was trying to field the ball, it wasn't the one that was in front. It was the one that was behind trying to field that ball. And so therefore, that should have been called. There was some talk about this because it was shown on YouTube and also on Facebook. And I wanted to talk about it just a brief moment, okay? I also have another video which could come into play, especially in Federation, but we got Federation ball being played now. And I want to bring this video up because this can happen, and this is a strange play, all right? So let me see if I got voice on this one. All right. Here we go. Oops. Got to get something out of the way. Doggone it. Sorry. My fingers get in the way here sometimes when I'm trying to touch something, so I'm going to try it this way. Sorry. Again. Here we go. I'm going to draw it back and watch the play. What happened here was the ball rolled into the bat, but the bat was actually kicked right there by the catcher. Okay? Now, there's a couple things that could come into play here. One, now watch again. See that? And then the ball rolls into the bat. If the ball rolls into the bat, it's a live ball. It's a live ball. If the bat rolls into the ball, it's a dead ball and the batter is out. But the question was questioned about was the catcher kicked the bat by accident. Now let's say the bat rolled into the ball in this situation, and we would have something, okay? What we would have here is we wouldn't have an out because the catcher kicked the bat by accident and had we'll say the bat go into the ball. You don't want to penalize the batter for what the catcher did in this case. And the question on this was, where is this in the book? I looked in the book, and obviously you can't cover every situation, but in this situation, obviously it was a catcher. If the catcher had to kick the bat and the bat hit the ball, you would not have an out. Okay. In this case, just wanted to bring this one up. Another video. All right. In fact, I think I have it. Maybe. Let me see here. Let's see if we have a little better view here. I got something popping up, of course. Oh, not going to show it, I guess. Anyway, that we saw that, so we'll let that go. Just wanted to bring those two instances up because there's all different kinds of interference that can happen. And one we did not cover is equipment or a non-player. You could have a equipment or a non-player. And when it comes to equipment, that's called a block ball, okay? That's called a block ball. If a thrown ball hits equipment on the offense, all right? Let's say there's a on-deck batter bat laying on the ground, okay? Not held. And the thrown ball hits that bat, all right? That is considered a block ball. That is a dead ball. Now, who do we have out? All right? You have the player who is being played on being out, all right? The player being played on would be out. So let's say it's the runner being thrown out at the plate, maybe, or trying to be thrown out at the plate, and it's a wild throw, and it hits the bat on the ground. Yeah, you're saying, well, why would you penalize the runner because it's a wild throw? Because the bat doesn't belong. Now, I'm not talking about the thrown bat from the batter. I'm talking about the bat from the on-deck batter. If that ball would hit that bat, now that is a block ball, and the runner being played on, which would be the runner coming home, would be out. I had a play in a national tournament, and it wasn't a play like this. It was the bat boy was coming out in a men's tournament to pick up a bat. Okay. The ball was thrown past the first baseman wild, and it hit the bat boy as he's coming out. The runner, the batter running going to first base, I know that runner was safe. However, by rule, that is a dead ball, and the runner being played on, which was the batter runner, is now out. Yes, the ball got by the fielder, and yes, the runner was probably already safe, but it doesn't matter. Okay? It doesn't matter. So remember those rules. Those are quirky rules. Had another play that happened to me, and it was NCAA, but it still happens, and it's the same rule, okay? Same rule, whether it be Federation or USA softball, and that is CMU was a fall ball playing Saginaw Valley, and I was working with Brian Smith, and he's a legendary Brian Smith, so he was on the bases. Everybody who was from Michigan or maybe some other states know who Brian Smith is. So what happened was we had a ball hit to the outfield, a gapper, and it was bases were loaded. So we had runners coming in. And as the ball was picked up and thrown home, it got past the catcher, okay? Past the catcher. And the on-deck batter was standing there, and the catcher had to run around the on-deck batter to go get the ball. That's interference. Why? Well, because there was no contact made, but the catcher had to run around that standing on-deck batter, all right? That's hindering. Remember one thing, you cannot contact, hinder, or impede. That's hindering the catcher from making a play. And in that case, what you had was a dead ball, or what I had was a dead ball, and I had the runner being played on. It was the second runner coming home. The first runner on third scored already. The runner on second was coming home and was being played on. So that runner was now out. All right? Now, the softball coach for Saginaw Valley wasn't very happy and wanted to know why. I explained it to him. In fact, Brian and I both got together on this. I was entitled to explain it, so I did. And I explained it precisely that way, that in that case, the runner being played on is now out, and it's a dead ball. And he had to accept it, okay, because that was the rule. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention because those kind of plays can happen, whether it be Federation, NCAA, USA softball, U-Trip, any of those associations, all right? But I'm a USA softball umpire. I used to be. So that was called ASA at the time. So I like to bring up a lot of USA softball rules or strange plays that can happen. So just wanted to bring that up. In that case, that's what we had. All right. Now, here's another thing that happens in softball, and especially in Federation. You're going to hear this at least once or twice in a game. During the season, all right? Once or twice during the season, not during the game, but during the season. We have a pitch ball. The batter swings, and it hits her hands, all right? Hits her hands, and the ball goes foul. In this case, the ball goes foul. What do we have? We have a lot of coaches and fans, especially fans, who think that the hands are part of the bat. No. And we love to say as umpires, unless she was born with it, unless she bought that bat with hands applied to it, the hands are not part of the bat. All right. In this case, if she hits it foul, it is a dead ball and it's a strike. Why? Because she swung at it. It hit her hands. Yes. That's a dead ball and it's a strike. Okay. Now, let's say she swung at it and it hit her hands and she didn't make contact with the ball. Okay. Again, it's a dead ball and now it's just a strike because she swung at it. Now, let's go this way. Let's say she didn't swing at it. The ball comes inside. Ball comes inside on her. She's trying to get out of the way and the ball hits her hands. Aha. Now we have a dead ball. Now we have the ball hitting the batter, and the batter is awarded first base. Do you see the differences here? She didn't swing at it. The ball hit her hands, dead ball. That's part of her body, and therefore she is awarded first base. Okay? Now we're going to go one more. She swings at the pitch, ball hits her hands, and goes fair. Okay? Goes fair, and she reaches first base safely. You're saying, that's a single. No, it isn't. Again, that's a dead ball, and because it hit her hands, it is not a single. And if it was an out, it would not be an out. It would be just a dead ball and a strike. Okay? Again, because the hands are part of the body. So all those things can happen in a game. I gave you 4 instances of what can happen. All right? Be aware of them. And fans, if you're listening to this podcast, don't be yelling out, hey, hands are part of the bat. No, they're not. Hands are part of the body. Okay? And then you have different things that can happen when you swing at it or if you don't swing at it. All right? So we clarified that one up, hopefully. I'll guarantee you sometime during the season it's going to happen to you. I remember I was working with Guy Marcoux, and we were at Millington High School, and we had it happen once in my game at the plate and once in his game at the plate, and were different scenarios. So it was pretty humorous, actually, when it happened, because the coach, and I won't mention who it was, and I won't mention what all happened, but it happened once for him and once against him, and he couldn't understand. But we had to explain it, okay? So it can happen. Now, let's say we've got this play. We've got a batter being in the batter's box, okay? Runner stealing third base. Pitch comes in, and the batter is hit by a thrown ball by the catcher, okay? And in the batter's box. And everybody thinks, oh, she's in the batter's box, so it's fine. Well, let me read the rule to you. In the rule supplement in USA Softball, which, by the way, is the same in Federation Ball, but I was trying to find it anywhere in there, and I could not find the exact wording. So I'm going to read you the ruling in USA Softball. Batter interference occurs while the batter is at bat and before the ball is batted. It occurs in fast pitch when the batter interferes with a catcher's throw on an attempt steal or when the batter interferes with the catcher in a play at the plate. The batter's box is not a sanctuary for the batter when a play is being made at the plate. Okay? She cannot just stand there in the batter's box on a play at the plate. All right? She has to get out of the way. The batter's box is not a sanctuary. So let's say she's got something weird happening and she doesn't know where to go, but she stays in the batter's box while the catcher is trying to make a play on the runner coming home. Can't do that. Okay? Got to get out of the way. Got to move somewhere. All right? In that case, the batter's box is not a sanctuary, and the runner being played on would be out. All right? Can't allow the excuse me, did I say that? I meant the batter would be called out, the runner would return to third. All right? Sorry about that. The batter would be called out and the runner would return to third. All right? So those are all the different ways that you're going to have interference that we didn't cover. So I don't want to really cover too much interference anymore, but I wanted to bring those things up. Now, one more thing I want to talk about today, and that is USA Softball has some slow pitch tournaments coming up. There's going to be one in April and a few in May, quite a few in May, and a couple in June, in fact. If you go to the USA Softball of Michigan website, that's usasoftballofmichigan.org. All right. You can look up all the different tournaments that are being played, qualifiers in slow pitch. So I want you to go there. And if you want to play slow pitch softball, USA softball, and you have a team, I want you to go there and find where they are at. All right. If you don't have a team and you'd like to form a team, it's never too late. Okay. Form a team, sign up, register USA softball, and get a team going. All right. And play in one of the sanctioned tournaments. All right. Now we've got all different levels, all the way to F. All right, that you can play. So remember that. Now is a good time to do it. Okay. So I just want to put a little plug in there for USA softball. Now this podcast is not sanctioned through USA softball. It's trademarked a different way. It's trademarked through my Dave's Dugout, which is my podcast, not associated with USA softball whatsoever. But because I am associated with USA softball, I like to put a plug in for them. Okay, so I just wanted you to know that. If you're another association and you have some slow pitch coming up, by all means, get involved. Okay. NCAA softball will be ending very soon, so start watching some games. Watch some NCAA games, and watch some of the maybe quirky plays that could happen. Same thing with Federation. Find your local schools that are nearby. Go on their website. Find out where they're playing. When you have a home game, go to them. Enjoy that game of softball. Okay? Now, I said I was going to do one more thing that isn't really softball, and that is my family lives in Connecticut. Guess what? My daughter's family lives in Connecticut. Michigan's playing Connecticut tonight. Now, what's nice is they've got both sides because they're originally from Michigan. I have family in Connecticut, but I'm sorry. I got to say this. Go blue.